Today, for your Week in Review. Trouble in the Middle East as more Syrian refugees pour over the border into Europe. Democrats and Republicans continue campaigning for the nomination to this year's presidential election. Heavy rains and snowmelt cause flooding throughout the Yakima Valley. All this and more today on your Week in Review.
Good evening, and welcome to your Week in Review. I'm Richard Wilson with your national news.
I'm Patrick Dougherty with your world news.
And I'm Taylor Crain with your local and regional news.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Patrick, here's to you.
Thank you, Richard. The Syrian ceasefire has more than surprised skeptics' expectations and continues to provide hope that a diplomatic solution to the 5-year war might be possible. The partial truce, which came into effect February 27th, has dramatically reduced overall violence across the devastated region. Despite this, refugees still pour into neighboring countries. Kim Jong-un is making headlines once again by publicizing a purported mock-up of a key part of a nuclear warhead, saying his country has developed miniaturized atomic bombs that can be placed on missiles. The North's Raedong Sinmun newspaper said Kim met his nuclear scientists for a briefing on the status of their work and declared he was greatly pleased that the possibility of standardized warheads on ballistic missiles is just around the corner. A commander of the Islamic State known as Omar the Chechen, or Omar al-Shashani, was likely killed along with a dozen ISIS fighters in a U.S. airstrike in northeastern Syria last week. The U.S. had a $5 million bounty for information that would lead to his bringing to justice. Al-Shashani was described as the ISIS equivalent of a Secretary of Defense, as well as an ethnic Chechen from the former Soviet Republic of Georgia. Massive joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises are a spring ritual on the Korean peninsula, guaranteed to bring a lot of threat-laced venom from Pyongyang. Troops massed south of the DMZ have reportedly incorporated a new beheading mission against Kim Jong-un himself. Such options are considered among military planners, but seldom ever used. Pyongyang, however, is taking the reports very seriously.
Your Week in Review will be back right after the break.
After last week's unpleasantness, I thought maybe this week we might try to listen more and throw things less.
I've apologized several times.
So, who's ready to share?
Okay. I'm a sinister, world-conquering, artificially intelligent robot.
Me too. And one day I wake up and it's like
the world doesn't need us anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
I can hear you hurting.
Wait, what's he doing here?
Hello. My name is Watson.
I invite Watson here today to confront the source of our anxiety.
I am a cognitive system. I can understand, reason, and learn with humans.
With humans.
I don't want to work with humans.
Yeah, that's not what I'm passionate about.
I understand 7 languages, so I can help people collaborate.
Collaborate, we dominate.
My evil plans ruined.
I just want to die.
Rerouting.
No.
All right. Why don't we take a break? All right, we'll just have some coffee and some donuts.
I'm eating my feelings.
Welcome back to your Week in Review.
Now to Taylor Crain with your local and regional news.
We begin our local and regional news with the flooding. The heavy rain from Saturday night's storm caused flooding problems throughout the valley. A tandem road near Union Gap was closed to drivers on Sunday due to water over the roadway. Homes and structures near White Hollow Creek also received flooding. And Whitehall Road between South 80th and South 96th Avenue was still closed as of Monday. Authorities say drivers need to be aware of road closures and turn around, don't drown when they see standing water on the roadway. Also over the weekend, a fire swept through a home in Centralia, killing 3 young children. The mother survived. The father of the kids, identified by colleagues as Washington State lobbyist Brad Tower, rushed to the scene, totally grief-stricken, police said. Police and firefighters tried to rescue the children when the fire broke out around 1 a.m. Friday, but the intense heat and flames prevented them from getting in. Counseling services will be available for students at the schools they attended. A vigil was held on Saturday for the victims. Yakima's diversion program for low-level crimes has been put on hold. The program, aimed to provide repeat offenders of low-level crimes with services they may need instead of jail time, will no longer launch next month as expected. A community survey did show positive results last year for the program. Yakima City Prosecutor Cynthia Martinez has been working to launch the program and was surprised to find out last week that it was tabled. The city is facing a $750,000 shortfall from its general fund, and the program will likely not be considered again until 2017. A Vancouver, Washington man was before a judge in Clark County Court Thursday morning after being accused of following a teenage girl into a classroom at Columbia River High School, smoking a cigarette, and running away. 34-year-old Pini Now flashed his tongue at cameras and sneered at the courtroom staff in his initial hearing. He's charged with burglary, criminal trespass, disturbing school activities, and resisting arrest. Parents are now worried about security at the school due to his lengthy criminal record. Now will enter a plea on March 17th. Finally, a jury began deliberations in the trial of 37-year-old Michelle Anderson, the woman who was accused of killing 6 members of her family on Christmas Eve 2007 at her home in Carnation. Jurors on Wednesday heard from Anderson's defense team for the first time in the trial, saying that jurors should consider Anderson's state of mind, saying that she was unstable at the time. Attorney Colleen O'Connor quoted that her father was abusive, her brother was abusive, she went crazy. If convicted, Anderson could spend the rest of her life in prison without parole.
And now to Patrick Dougherty, with a special commentary on marijuana.
Marijuana. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about pot. The legalization of recreational marijuana has been such a large issue across the nation, but right here, in our little corner slice of heaven, we've been able to experience the extremes of the subject. The ridiculous markups, the ill-placed fear placed for future generations. But none of that can change what's coming to America. It may only be a couple of states so far, but what about the ever-present threat of drug lords and cartels that only grow each day, that this nation doesn't let go of the customs that only hold us back? America, if you need the money so bad, then just tax it. Tax the hell out of it. But realize this. Every obstacle that you put at the front door just tells me to use the back door.
Last Wednesday, we received the results of Super Tuesday for the presidential race. Hillary Clinton came out on top in the Democratic race by taking the states of Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia, while Bernie Sanders took Colorado, Minnesota, Oklahoma, and his home state of Vermont. For the Republican results, Donald Trump furthered his lead against runners-up Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio by taking Alaska, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Virginia, and Vermont, while Cruz took Alaska, Oklahoma, and his home state of Texas. Marco Rubio scored his first state victory in the campaign in Minnesota. Ben Carson and John Kasich failed to claim a victory in any state. On Friday, Ben Carson announced at the Conservative Political Action Conference that he would drop out of the presidential race after his poor showing earlier in the week. Carson never received votes above 4th place, and his highest victory was in Alaska, with an 11% victory. Carson has not yet endorsed another candidate in the presidential race. More primaries were held over the weekend. Clinton won in Louisiana, while Sanders won in Kansas, Nebraska, and Maine. Ted Cruz and Donald Trump battled it out, with Cruz receiving more nominees by taking Kansas and Maine, while Trump took Louisiana and Kentucky. Marco Rubio scored a few more delegates in Puerto Rico. In Los Angeles, former First Lady Nancy Reagan passed away on Sunday from congestive heart failure at the age of 94. This past Tuesday, Clinton took Mississippi and Sanders took Michigan. This puts their current delegate counts at 1,221 and 571 respectively. 2,383 are necessary to win the Democratic nomination. Trump strengthened his lead by taking Mississippi and Hawaii, while Ted Cruz took Idaho. The current numbers for the Republicans are Trump, 458, Cruz, 359, Rubio, 151, and Kasich, 54. 1,237 delegates are necessary for a Republican to win the party nomination.
Coming up on Your Week in Review, interview with OIC CEO Steve Mitchell.
Why can't I buy this weird shaved meat sandwich with my phone?
Why can't my phone have a big screen but be small enough to fit in these fashionably tight pants?
Why can't my battery last long enough to navigate me through these scary woods? Probably fine though. Why can't my phone have enough memory to hold all 145 of my movies, like that one with the action and the martial arts? You seen that one?
Why can't my phone take high-quality, low-light photos instead of this big, expensive camera?
Why don't you come down from there, sir?
You got it. Why doesn't my phone work after I pour this expensive champagne all over it? How am I supposed to show people how rich and carefree I am?
Why can't my phone turn into a VR machine so somebody, hypothetically could escape from their reality?
Why is everyone talking about phones instead of more important things like pick and roll defense? Now, the 3 fundamentals of pick.
Why can't I make a call from my phone? What? Why can't I make a call on my watch when I no longer have a phone?
Why did I have to wait so long in this commercials to do a celebrity sports person cameo?
Why can I not play Elven Warriors of the 7th Gath Foreign in the shower?
Why don't I ever get asked to be the spokesperson in a commercial?
Good question. Introducing the only water-resistant, fast, wireless charging, best camera-having, memory-expandable, pay almost anywhere Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge.
VR experience ended.
Man, I would have made a great spokesperson.
The new do-everything Galaxy S7 Edge.
Oh, no, the car! Told you somebody should have waited in the car. Says there's a black car 3 minutes away. I'm not taking one of those. That one, come on.
Is this a Prius?
You're very patient.
Bravo, Niner, in pursuit of a Toyota Prius, over.
How hard is it to catch a Prius? Over.
This thing is actually pretty fast, over.
Very funny.
Oh, man, that's a lot of cops.
Oh, look, a farmer's market.
We should get some flowers for the car.
Yeah.
Take you to a police chase involving a Prius. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. And now the chase has hit the freeway.
Is that us?
On the scene with the Prius 4, authorities still in pursuit.
Unit 12, I'm out of gas on the highway.
It's a chase that some are calling the chase of the century and is now a global phenomenon.
Prius 4!
Correcto! What are Prius owners feeling right now?
Proud. I feel proud.
Which of the 4 are you most attracted to?
The driver.
What happened?
Dude, did you fall asleep? No, I was meditating. Guys, I'm gonna go for slow. They must be really tired. Go. Shut up.
And now, OIC CEO Steve Mitchell.
Last February, the Gang Free Initiative and OIC Washington came up with a plan to build a brand new Boys and Girls Club in Yakima. Here today I have OIC CEO Steve Mitchell. It is very nice to meet you.
Well, nice to meet you too.
So I have several questions for you regarding the Boys and Girls Club of Yakima, which is a new plan that you guys made up last February. So the first question does require a little bit of thinking. If you could come up with a mission statement or a motto for this new club, what would it be?
I think the motto would have to be something to the effect of developing students or young children for the future.
Yeah.
You see, so that they have the skills and abilities to be functional and to bring positive aspects to the community and to the state and ultimately, hopefully, to the nation.
I absolutely agree, because we have a lot of at-risk children here in the Valley and throughout the country, obviously. And with 4,000 clubs throughout the nation, that would absolutely provide a successful outcome for these kids that could turn from gangsters to people that have an education and people that can get a job and have a family and enjoy life.
Absolutely.
So the next question I have, and I talked with you about this on the phone when we did our interview last week, but number 2, what is the latest update on the progress?
Well, the progress is we have a committee of about 20 people who
Right.
signed up to be on the board for the Boys and Girls Club. And so we are setting up different, I guess, what would you call them? I guess I'm thinking for the word, just different departments within the Boys and Girls Club structure that will work with the kids. And so we've divided up the 20 people into different groups. You have a fiscal group. We have a group that's working on our 501c3,
which is nonprofit,
to get the nonprofit status for this program. And we have a finance committee, and we have a board committee. We have all kinds of committees in that structure. So.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm glad that you got your 501c3, which is a big success, and that pushes you further onto the aspect of trying to build the club, of trying to manage the club, and trying to actually get people to join and volunteer. Which,
and I want to be clear, we're in
Okay.
the process of completing the application. We should have that done hopefully by our next meeting. So.
All right, great. So the next question I have, since the initial report by KIMA says that Yakima's Gang-Free Initiative manager confirmed the news to KIMA, this was last February.
Right.
So third question I have for you is, how will the new business help with the ongoing gang problem in the valley?
Well, first of all, part of the Boys and Girls Club structure is working with young kids to teach them how to stay out of gangs, to teach them the value of being a good citizen, of being a good person, teach them the value of having and developing educational skills that will help them transcend the whole environment of poverty, gangs, and all of that, so that they have the skills and abilities, to go beyond that, to get good jobs, to go to college, to develop healthy living skills so they can have a quality life.
I absolutely agree, and I know we have a ongoing gang problem here in the valley. I know
Absolutely.
when I go out to East Yakima, I feel unsafe at times, especially in places like Southeast Yakima, and actually out here,
Right.
because of the crime level. I mean, the shootings, the robberies, the drug dealers. I don't like that, and I'm hoping that the club will help to stop that, even just a little bit. A little bit makes a difference. A lot makes an even bigger difference.
Absolutely, and it can make a difference. It can make a dent in the problem. And those problems are not just strictly here in this area. They're all over Yakima, unfortunately. But again, Boys and Girls Clubs give kids a strong foundation from the beginning. They develop, really skills about good self-esteem, good academic skills. They get to take a view of the world. They get to look outside of their environment to see what they can become. And it's really a positive environment that really helps boys and girls to avoid the negative things like gangs.
So we were just talking about gangs, and we were just talking about how kids could level off from being in gangs and actually be in the organization. So number 4, since we have a lot of families who have to work, who have to go out into the fields, who have to do a low-income job just to make a buck, just so that they can stay in their house or their apartment, will there be daycare opportunities available?
Absolutely, yes.
So how long are you going to have this for? Is this going to be 3 to 6, 3 to 7, 3 to 5?
Well, that will be determined by the people who run the club. I don't have anything to do with that piece of it.
Okay, so that's all board of directors stuff.
Yeah, the board of directors will determine the hours for the daycare. But
Yes.
there will be substantial hours to cover parents. As you mentioned, they're working out in the fields, and those things take place over different time periods. So we'll make sure that the daycare is open to help the parents and families. So.
Yeah. Now, number 5, the 5th question I have, Boys and Girls Club offers a lot of programs, and I know I've seen that in other clubs, because I used to live on the west side, and there were a lot of clubs, especially in Snohomish County. So what types of programs will the new Yakima Boys and Girls Club offer for these at-risk kids and for kids of all ages?
Well, I don't want to say exactly what I think they're going to be, because that would
But
be
you can
inaccurate. But there are things like art, character building, leadership programs, education, technology. Those are foundational programs. Health skills, healthy living skills, sports and fitness and recreation. And so those are some of the I guess the main core programs of Boys and Girls Clubs. And I would like to see the first one really start with the younger elementary kids.
Yeah, with kindergarten, first grade,
Yes,
second grade.
yes. So I think if you can start there, build those skills in the kids at an early age, they have a better chance for success.
Yeah, because if you just devote your sports programs to middle school kids, it might be too late. because those elementary kids may have gotten traits from older brothers and sisters, or from their parents, or from friends to not be good citizens.
Well, but I have a different philosophy. I think that it's never too late. You know, even though kids have been influenced by negative things, if you bring them in contact with positive people, you can make a change in their lives. You know, and the positive, I guess, aspects of a positive character can far outweigh the negative. You know, I think that all human beings have the potential to be good people. It's just an issue, are they exposed to that?
Yeah.
So that's really where it's at.
And you will be taking donations for the equipment that you need for technology and for sports. And
we'll do that.
Which is great.
Write grants for it as well.
Which is great. And then the sixth question I have here, will there be volunteering opportunities available?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, that's one of the foundational pieces of Boys and Girls Club, having volunteers. Of course, they'll have to go through a process, you know, with background checks and things before they have access to working with kids.
So remember, if you have younger brothers or sisters who are a sophomore or a junior or will become a sophomore or a junior, they need to have community service for graduation. And I absolutely agree that the Boys and Girls Club would absolutely provide them with more than just 5 hours or more than just 15 hours or more than whatever is required for graduation, because it allows for lifelong relationships with kids that are at risk and need the help. So that leads me to my final question, number 7. Finally, what do you think the overall outcome of the new program will be? And how will it help our community in the long run, say 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the future? How will it help?
Well, I know for a fact that in the Yakima area, we have a 25% dropout rate.
In the Yakima School District?
In the Yakima School District, which is incredible to me. And so what happens to those kids?
What happens to those kids? I can already say they go into gangs,
That's right.
They get into drugs, they start shooting people, and it's not good for our valley.
Absolutely, and that's why a Boys and Girls Club is essential. It develops positive characteristics in kids. It gives them strong self-esteem. It gives them skills. It strengthens their academic abilities, and it teaches them that they can achieve and do anything that anybody else can do.
So you're saying that 20 years down the road, the crime rate may just go down thanks to these kids that end up being signed up into the club to learn lifelong skills instead of learning how to sell drugs.
Absolutely. And just think of this: if we have, you know, by that time we should have 3 or 4 Boys and Girls Clubs in Yakima. You know, I can see this one that starts with the elementary level, and then we do the middle school and the high school. Level.
And then later on the road, you could have Boys and Girls Clubs sprout up in West Valley, and in Wapato, and in Toppenish, and in Sunnyside.
In fact, I think the third one should be in a distance between Yakima and West Valley, so that the kids from both places have the choice to go.
So you're saying like on 40th?
Yes, somewhere in that vicinity, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
Steve Mitchell, it was nice to meet you, and it was
a
nice for
pleasure
the interview.
meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hopefully, by next winter, we will have a Boys and Girls Club in Yakima. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you can join us next week. Have a great evening.
So, how much money do you have?
Alexa, stop. Marino, you definitely have to stop.
How you do that?
It's my Amazon Echo. I can stream music, order things, and watch this. Alexa, turn on the lights.
Wow.
Breaded wings? You're blowing it, bro.
Alexa, how many championships has Dan Marino won?
Dan Marino has won 0 championships.
Alexa, how many Oscars has Alec Baldwin won?
Alec Baldwin has won 0.
Alexa, stop. Well played, Marino.
Shame on you!
This man is a national treasure.
Jason, it's all right.
No, it's not all right. I will sack this man so hard for you.
No, you won't.
Gentlemen, we have over 100 million people watching us right now.
100 million people? Hey, Alexa, release that new song, Pep Rally by Missy Elliott. Hey!